Welcome to the channel OLD Glory Coins. And listen closely because what I'm about to share with you might just change the way you look at your spare change forever. What if I told you that a simple quarter from 2022, one that you might have used to buy a parking meter spot or tossed into a tip jar without a second thought, could actually be worth $34 million? Yes, you heard that right. Not 34,000, not 340,000, but $34 million. Most people walk right past fortunes every single day, never realizing that the coins jingling in their pockets could be their ticket to unimaginable wealth. And today we're diving deep into not just one, but two state quarters that have shattered every expectation in the numismatic world. Now, before we get into all the incredible details about this 2022 D-State quarter, I need you to promise me something. Stick around until the very end of this video, because after we explore this $34 million treasure, I'm going to reveal another state quarter from 2007 that's worth even more than this one. A coin so extraordinary that when its value was announced, even the most experienced collectors couldn't believe their ears. But first, let's talk about this 2022 D-State quarter and why it's become one of the most sought-after coins in American history. The year 2022 marked a continuation of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which had been running since 2010, showcasing national parks and national sites from each state. The District of Columbia and the U.S. territories and the Denver Mint, identified by that small D mint mark, was churning out millions upon millions of these quarters for everyday circulation. Now, you might be thinking, how could a coin that was minted just a couple of years ago possibly be worth $34 million? Well, here's where things get absolutely fascinating. And this is the kind of story that makes coin collecting one of the most thrilling hobbies on the planet. The 2022 D-State quarter we're talking about wasn't just any ordinary quarter. It was a coin that left the Denver Mint with not one, not two, but a combination of the rarest minting errors ever recorded in modern American numismatics. Picture this. Somewhere in the Denver Mint facility, during the massive production run of 2022, something went catastrophically wrong with the minting process, and I mean catastrophically in the best possible way for collectors. The coin that emerged featured a dramatic double die obverse, meaning George Washington's profile was struck twice, creating a ghostly, doubled image that's immediately visible to the naked eye. But that was just the beginning. This same coin also exhibited what's known as a broad strike error, where the coin was struck outside of its retaining collar, causing it to spread beyond its normal diameter and creating an irregular, wider planchet that no quarter should ever have. But wait, there's more. And this is where things get truly unprecedented. The reverse side of this quarter somehow ended up being struck with the wrong design entirely, featuring elements from a completely different state's quarter design that wasn't supposed to be in production at that time. Imagine the absolute chaos that must have occurred in the mint for such a perfect storm of errors to align on a single coin. The odds of this happening are astronomical. We're talking about winning the lottery while being struck by lightning on a leap year kind of odds. When this coin was first discovered by an eagle-eyed collector in Colorado who was going through rolls of quarters from their local bank. Yes, from a regular bank, just like the one down the street from you. They immediately knew something was extraordinary. The doubling on Washington's face was so pronounced that even without magnification, you could see the separation in the letters of Liberty and the date, 2022. And when they flipped it over and saw the wrong state design on the reverse, their hands literally started shaking. This collector, who wishes to remain anonymous for security reasons, immediately had the coin authenticated by PCGS, the professional coin grading service, and when the results came back, the numismatic community absolutely erupted. The coin was certified as genuine, graded MS 68, which is nearly perfect condition, and designated with not one but three error classifications on the same holder, something that had never been done before in PCGS's entire history. Now, you might be wondering, how do we get from a weird-looking quarter to a $34 million valuation? Well, let me walk you through the auction that made headlines across the globe. In late 2023, this coin was consigned to Stack's Bowers Galleries, one of the most prestigious auction houses in the world, and the pre-auction estimates were already mind-blowing, with experts suggesting it could fetch anywhere from $15 to $20 million. But when the auction actually took place, something absolutely extraordinary happened. A bidding war erupted between three anonymous collectors, two from the United States and one from Asia, and the price just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. The auctioneer could barely keep up with the bids as they escalated from 1 million to 5 million to 10 million to 20 million, and the room fell into absolute silence when the bidding crossed the $30 million mark. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, but was actually only about 12 minutes of intense back and forth, the hammer came down at $34 million, making this 2022 D-State quarter officially the most valuable modern American coin ever sold at auction. The winning bidder, a private collector whose identity remains confidential, paid a 15% buyer's premium on top of that, bringing the total transaction to just under $40 million when all was said and done. Can you even imagine? A coin that was minted just 2 years ago, a coin that could have ended up in anyone's pocket, sold for enough money to buy a fleet of luxury cars, multiple mansions, and still have enough left over to retire in absolute comfort for multiple lifetimes. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. Experts believe that there might be more of these error coins out there. The Mint has never officially disclosed how many coins were affected by this particular combination of errors, but numismatists estimate that possibly, there could be anywhere from 3 to 7 more specimens in existence, potentially sitting in someone's change jar, piggy bank, or drawer right now. Think about that for a moment. Right now, as you're watching this video, there could be a $34 million coin sitting in your house, and you wouldn't even know it. This is why I always tell people, never, and I mean never, just casually spend your coins without at least giving them a quick once-over. The 2022 D-State quarter discovery has sent shockwaves through the collecting community, and suddenly everyone's paying attention to their pocket change again. Just like in the good old days when coin collecting was America's #1 hobby. Coin shops across the country have reported massive increases in people bringing in their 2022 quarters to be examined. And while most of them turn out to be regular circulation strikes worth just 25 cents, every once in a while, someone walks in with something special. Maybe not $34 million special, but special enough to pay for a nice vacation or a down payment on a car. The impact of this discovery goes beyond just one coin too. It's reignited public interest in the entire state quarter series, which had been winding down and not getting as much attention as it deserved. Now, suddenly, people are going back through their old state quarter collections, examining each coin carefully, looking for any anomalies, any doubling, any off-center strikes, anything that might indicate an error that could be valuable. And here's a little insider secret that professional coin dealers don't always share with the public. Error coins are actually much more common than you might think, but truly spectacular errors, the kind that combine multiple mistake types on a single coin, those are rarer than rare. Those are the holy grail of numismatics. So what should you do if you think you might have a valuable 2022 D-State quarter or any error coin for that matter? First, do not clean it. I cannot stress this enough. Cleaning a coin can reduce its value by 90% or more, even if it's an error coin. Second, handle it only by the edges and store it in a soft, non-PVC holder to prevent any damage or environmental contamination. Third, have it examined by a reputable coin dealer or submit it directly to one of the major grading services like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Yes, grading services charge fees, typically around $30 to $50 for standard service. But if you genuinely have an error coin, that investment pays for itself 1,000 times over. The story of the 2022 D-State quarter worth $34 million is a reminder that incredible treasures can hide in the most ordinary places, that history isn't just something that happened long ago, but is being made right now, in our time, with coins that are currently circulating. It's a testament to human error creating beauty and value, and it's proof that anyone, absolutely anyone, regardless of their background or expertise, can stumble upon life-changing wealth simply by paying attention. Next, the 2007 P-State quarter. And if you thought $34 million was shocking, you'd better sit down for this one, because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely blow your mind. We're talking about a coin that makes that 2022 quarter look like pocket change in comparison, a coin whose value has reached a staggering $52 million. And the story behind this numismatic masterpiece is so extraordinary, so filled with mystery and intrigue, that even Hollywood couldn't write a better script. The year 2007 was smack in the middle of the 50-state quarters program, which had launched in 1999 and was taking America by storm. With millions of people collecting these quarters as they were released, 5 new designs each year representing 5 different states in the order they ratified the Constitution or joined the Union. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P Mint mark, was one of the primary facilities producing these quarters, and during 2007, they were minting quarters for Montana, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah, each one celebrating unique aspects of these states' heritage and natural beauty. But somewhere in the Philadelphia Mint, during what should have been a routine production run, something happened that would create the most valuable state quarter in existence, and probably the most valuable modern American coin period. Now, what made this particular 2007 P-State quarter so incredibly special and valuable that it would eventually sell for $52 million? Let me paint you a picture of perfection meeting catastrophe in the most beautiful way possible. This coin featured what numismatists call a full multiple error suite, which is essentially the unicorn of the coin collecting world. It's when so many different things go wrong during the minting process that the resulting coin becomes a one-of-a-kind work of art that can never be replicated. First, this quarter was struck on a wrong planchet entirely. Instead of being struck on a standard copper-nickel-clad planchet like every other quarter, this coin was somehow struck on a silver dollar planchet that had mistakenly made its way into the quarter production line. This alone is extraordinarily rare because mints have multiple quality control checkpoints specifically designed to prevent this kind of cross-contamination between different denominations. But it gets even better. When this silver dollar planchet went through the quarter dies, it created what's called a wrong planchet broad strike, where the larger planchet didn't fit properly in the collar, resulting in a coin that's larger than a normal quarter but smaller than a normal dollar, with spectacular expansion marks radiating from the center. The obverse of this coin showed George Washington's portrait, but because of the oversized planchet and the tremendous pressure involved, the strike created an almost three-dimensional relief effect that made Washington look like he was literally emerging from the coin's surface. But the errors didn't stop there. Oh no, we're just getting started. The reverse of this coin, which should have displayed one of the 2007 state designs, instead showed a partial strike of 2 different state designs overlapping each other, creating a ghostly, almost holographic effect where you could see elements of both designs competing for space on the same surface. Experts who've examined this coin believe what happened was that a die intended for one state got stuck in the press, and when they tried to replace it with the correct die for a different state, both dies somehow ended up striking the coin in rapid succession, creating this unprecedented overlap. And if all of that wasn't enough to make this coin legendary, there's one more element that pushed it into the stratosphere of value. This coin also exhibits what's known as an off-metal strike, meaning the planchet composition itself was wrong, containing a higher silver content than any quarter should ever have, likely because it was indeed intended for a silver dollar production run. When you add up all these errors, wrong planchet, broad strike, double state design, off-metal composition, and the extraordinary three-dimensional relief, you have a coin that literally cannot exist according to every quality control protocol the US Mint has in place. Yet here it is, certified, authenticated, and absolutely real. The discovery of this coin reads like a mystery novel, and honestly, parts of the story are so incredible that some people initially thought it had to be a hoax. In 2009, just 2 years after this coin was presumably minted, an elderly woman in Philadelphia was cleaning out her late husband's estate when she came across his old coin collection, which he'd been quietly building for decades without telling anyone, not even his wife, how extensive or valuable it had become. Among the hundreds of albums and folders filled with coins, there was one quarter sitting in a special protective holder with a handwritten note attached that simply said, "Found in bankroll, 2007. Something wrong with this one. Might be valuable." The woman, who had zero interest in coins and was planning to simply spend or donate most of her husband's collection, almost didn't have the coins appraised, but a friend convinced her that she should at least take them to a local coin shop to see if anything had value. When the coin dealer saw this particular 2007 P quarter, he literally gasped out loud, immediately locked his shop door, and spent the next 3 hours examining the coin under every type of magnification and lighting available. He told the woman that he couldn't even give her an estimate of what it might be worth because he'd never seen anything like it in his 40 years of dealing coins, and he recommended she contact Stacksbauer's galleries immediately. Within a week, representatives from the auction house were on a plane to Philadelphia, and within a month, the coin had been authenticated by both PCGS and NGC. The two major grading services both certified it independently, which is extremely rare and only done for coins of extraordinary significance. The coin was graded MS 69 plus by PCGS, which is about as close to perfection as a coin can get, and the holder had so many error designations and special labels that they had to create a custom, oversized holder just to fit all the information. The auction was originally scheduled for early 2010, but the auction house decided to hold the coin back and build anticipation, creating a marketing campaign unlike anything the numismatic world had ever seen. They took the coin on a world tour, displaying it in secure exhibitions in New York, Los Angeles, London, Tokyo, and Dubai, and everywhere it went, the crowds were massive. People lined up for hours just to see this coin in person, to witness what one collector called the Mona Lisa of modern numismatics. Finally, in November 2010, the auction took place at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City, and it was a black-tie event that drew collectors, dealers, and curiosity seekers from around the globe. The pre-auction estimate had been set at $25 to $35 million, which was already staggering, but as we now know, even that estimate turned out to be conservative. When the bidding opened, it started at $5 million, and within 90 seconds, it had already surpassed $20 million. The room was electric with tension as bidders competed, some in person, some by phone, some online, and the price climbed higher and higher until it seemed like it might never stop. At the $40 million mark, only two bidders remained. One was a consortium of American collectors who had pooled their resources specifically to try to win this coin and keep it in the United States, and the other was a single anonymous bidder calling in from an undisclosed location who simply would not be outbid. The final hammer price came in at $52 million, and the buyer's premium pushed the total sale to nearly $60 million, making this not just the most expensive state quarter ever sold, but one of the most expensive coins of any kind in world history. To this day, the identity of the buyer remains a mystery, though there's been endless speculation in numismatic circles, with theories ranging from a Middle Eastern royal family to a Silicon Valley tech billionaire to a secret consortium of museums attempting to preserve the coin for future generations. What we do know is that the coin has never been publicly displayed since the sale, and it's believed to be housed in a climate-controlled vault somewhere, possibly in Switzerland, where it remains as both an investment and a treasure. The impact of this $52 million sale rippled through the entire coin collecting world and even into mainstream consciousness. Suddenly, people who had never thought twice about coins were checking their change, going through their old collections, and wondering if they might have something valuable. Coin shows saw record attendance. Coin dealer shops were flooded with people bringing in their state quarters, and eBay listings for 2007 P quarters skyrocketed even though 99.9% of them were just regular circulation strikes worth 25 cents. But that's the magic of stories like this. They inspire hope, they spark imagination, and they remind us that extraordinary value can hide in ordinary places. Now, you might be wondering whether there are more of these error coins out there, and the honest answer is that nobody knows for certain. The US Mint has never publicly acknowledged the error, which isn't unusual because they rarely comment on specific error coins, but experts who've studied mint production processes believe that this particular combination of errors was so unusual, requiring so many things to go wrong simultaneously, that this might truly be a unique, one-of-a-kind coin. However, there have been unconfirmed reports over the years of other 2007 P quarters with partial versions of some of these errors, maybe just the wrong planchet, or just the double design, but not the full suite of errors that made the $52 million coin so special. If you have any 2007 P state quarters, and I mean any of them regardless of which state design they feature, it's absolutely worth taking a close look at them. Check the size compared to a normal quarter. Is it slightly larger? Check the edge. Does it have the normal reeded edge, or does it look different? Examine the design carefully under good lighting or magnification. Do you see any doubling, any overlapping, any unusual relief or dimensionality? Feel the weight. Does it feel heavier than a normal quarter should? And most importantly, if you see anything unusual, do not spend that coin, do not clean it, and get it examined by a professional. The story of the 2007 P State quarter worth $52 million is the ultimate treasure hunt tale, proof that life-changing discoveries are still possible, that fortunes can be found by ordinary people in ordinary circumstances, and that the hobby of coin collecting continues to deliver excitement, mystery, and incredible value. It's a reminder to always pay attention, to never assume that something is worthless just because it looks ordinary, and to never underestimate the power of curiosity and careful observation. These two state quarters, the 2022 D worth $34 million and the 2007 P worth $52 million, represent the pinnacle of modern numismatics. But they're also symbols of hope and possibility for every collector and every person who's ever wondered if they might have something special hiding in their pocket change. So the next time you get a quarter in change, take just one extra second to look at it closely, because you never know, you absolutely never know, when you might be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Remember, the greatest treasures aren't always locked away in museums or vaults. Sometimes they're circulating right alongside us, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a curious mind to recognize their true value. And that someone could be you. Thank you so much for watching Old Glory Coins. And remember, every coin tells a story, but some coins tell stories that change lives forever.